What's up, everybody? I'm Joe Longo. This is 30 Days of Inspiration, and this is my good friend Miles Turner, aka BigMala Namaskar. So, what's happening?
Right, it's a blessed day, beautiful day. Sitting here at the city, iconic spot with an iconic man.
You are an iconic man, and thank you for getting up at sunrise to do this. Everyone that I've reached out to, like, we can go sunrise or we can go later in the day. And you and one other person are the only ones that are like, sunrise, let's sunrise it.
Sunrise, yeah.
Which has been great. The birds are super, they're kind of calmed down a little, but just before the sun actually came up, there was so much life in the air. Awesome. So I wanted to chat with you kind of a while ago for Yoga on Main's 25th was when I first actually met you in real life. But before then, you were, popping up all over the social media world. So I'm like, who is this dude? And he's got that smile. I don't know if he caught it. It's a great one. It draws you in. And you're putting out good stuff. Well, I need to meet this dude. Talk to him, see what he's all about. And if I find out that there's so many connects from your start and the same kind of, not the same start, but you started, did you start at Yoga on Main?
That's where I got my first level of training. My first 2 levels of training I got at Yoga on Main.
First 2?
Yeah.
So when did you start going to Yoga on Main?
I started going to Yoga on Main in January of 2015. Yeah.
And were you, because I think I saw something, maybe you even said it, did your mom introduce, how did you get introduced to this yoga world?
Yeah, so I long story short, I ended up with an injury in my foot, which, I believe to be plantar fasciitis. And the job, it was like incredible pain, most pain I ever felt in my life. And the job I was working at jerked me on the insurance, so I wasn't eligible for coverage. And so I Googled my symptoms and Googled free ways to fix plantar fasciitis, and yoga popped up. And my mom, she's a dancer, and she's been doing yoga like 30 years as supplementary practice. And so, she tried to put me on when I was young, but I was a knucklehead, so it was, get out of here, Mom. But so I came back like, what was you talking about, Mom? Like, what's going on with this yoga stuff? And she gave me the sun salutes, and 2 weeks later, I was cool. And then, like, once I just started feeling better, I just had to go I just had to see what this yoga was about. I had to go check the shit out, like, I had to see what was going on. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this for like a month. We just see what's up. And in that month, like in them 30 days, more stuff changed in any time of my life, like combined. And then I started tracking down free yoga all around the city, and Sweat got free yoga. And I came there, it was Crack of Dawn class. So I came from like a Crack of Dawn Sweat class up in Manioc. I was walking down the street, and I just happened to be walking down the street, happened to be on that side of the street, and I just turned, and it was like, Yoga on Main, and said, get certified to teach yoga. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know you go to school for yoga. I didn't know it was even like the thing like that. And so I told my mom. Mom ended up calling the spot, and she ended up getting in touch with Kiki. Shout out to Kiki. And Kiki told her that, it's a scholarship. And Mom was like, well, you can get a scholarship. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm sick with the pen, so let me see what's up. Wrote it. The day that the scholarship was announced, Shiva Das called me. Shout out to Shiva Das. And he was like, look, we already announced the scholarship, but somebody put your app in a drawer, and I'm just seeing it just now, so if you're interested, we'll offer you, a half scholarship. And I'm like, well, damn, if somebody gonna extend it, so I didn't know this man, but you could feel, I don't know if you know Shiva Das.
Oh, yeah.
Once not you, I'm talking about to the people. Y'all might not know Shiva Das. When you talk to Shiva Das on the phone, you can hear something through the phone, like, oh, this not no regular bull, like. And so I was like, all right, cool, let me see what's up. So he gave me the half scholarship, and it was on from there. I started training in January 2015. Got my first cert in June of 2015, June 28th. And then I went straight into it and started the 500 right after. Like, I think it was the next class actually. And it was just that, and that was the year. The first one, the 200 is a 6 month intensive. So you're going 3 days a week for 6 months. The next one, the 500, was a year-long weekend joint. So 1 weekend a month for a year, and it was just like, I was just I just got off to the races. Like I came out the gate with a bang. Like, but it's actually, I never really spoke on this. I feel like a part of me, now that I'm meeting a lot of these people and, you know, a lot of my peers, you know, I wish I had more time with personal practice on the mat before I started teaching. Like, I started teaching not too long before I got my 200, and I've been teaching ever since. And it's been like straight teaching, going hard with the teaching, and it's like my teaching practice expanded exponentially in comparison to my personal practice. So it's like so even now I kind of feel more like a yoga teacher than a yoga practitioner, and it's like it's kind of unfortunate, but you know, apparently it's part of the path. You know, I don't.
It pretty, like, once you start, I've found, especially with myself, same kind of thing. Like, after I finished my training and started teaching, my personal practice really dropped. And that's when you kind of have to try to get, you know, that self-discipline. Be like, no, I have to practice. But it is so hard, especially when you're teaching a lot. And it looks like you're a lot, like you're all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I condensed it, but I might have hit 30. I might hit 30 a couple times, but I definitely had like 20 on the schedule at one time. I had 20 plus on the schedule at one time. Somebody tells, I think Joseph Stukasi. Shout out to Swami Joe, LA Fitness. If you ever get a chance, he's amazing. He was like my first kind of yoga instructor that was like a yoga teacher. You know, yoga instructor is one thing, you know, show you the poses, whatever. Yoga teacher is gonna give you some game. And so he was the first boy, like, and he's so smooth with his teaching. It's like, I always tell people, it's like watching somebody pour like syrup on pancakes. Like, that's how he lay the vinyasa down. It's amazing. And so, you know, I would always ask, he taught me, he introduced me to Sanskrit. He would whisper the names of the poses afterwards and be like, you know, standing forward, folded twice. I'm like, yo, what are you saying? Like, he's like, yeah, well, every pose got a Sanskrit name. And that really was the catalyst to jump me onto the studying path. Like, I wanted to, because I came up with Pokemon when I was a kid. And it was like, you know, I need to know all, like, I know the first 150, I probably still know them, just in the back of my head somewhere, because that was the practice back then. I'm trying to get to know these Pokemon. So it was like the same thing with the Sanskrit poses. Like, I wanted to know, I started with the sun salute. I wanted to know every Sanskrit name and every sun salute pose. And I did that. And then it was like, well, there's a whole bunch of other poses out there. And then it was like, so on my 200 was dope. Everybody in there had like a career. You know, it was a chiropractor, it was a massage therapist, it was a drug and alcohol counselor, it was a organic food market manager, it was a hockey coach, it was all kinds of people in my 200. Personal trainer, all kinds of people. And they all had their thing, they all had their path in life and their careers. And my thing was the Sanskrit. You know, I've been doing so much Sanskrit studying that, like, they would ask, you know, what's this in Sanskrit? Everybody would kind of look at me, and I would know it. Like, and it was cool because, like, you know, when I got there, I couldn't touch my toes. I couldn't sit cross-legged. Like, one of the wildest and I think most poignant points in my journey was for the first three and a half months of my training. You know, Shiva Das, and I was struggling on one of these joints. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so Shiva Das brought me out a folding chair. And so everybody else, you know, sitting all pretzel comfortable, whatever, leg, foot all in the air, all that kind of crazy stuff. I'm sitting here in this chair feeling like a whole dunce, like, and it's, but, you know, it was kind of that feeling in that moment and knowing that I wasn't about to let this shortcoming hold back my journey and my process. That really kind of was like, I feel like it was a big part of the spark to keep pushing me to just, to get past those points of difficulty. You know, like we teach our students, you know, like you gonna encounter challenges, you gonna encounter tensions, you gonna encounter tightness in your body. And at a certain point, you gotta accept it before you can move past it. And it was like, I had to accept, look, I'm here, this is where I'm at now. You know, I can't sit cross-legged, I can't, you know, touch my toes, but I know that I can eventually with practice.
Right.
And even if I can't, I know if I'm leaning in that direction, I'm gonna end up closer than I am now. And that really stuck with me. And so, you know, fast forward to, I don't know when, but I remember the first time I hit Lotus, it felt like a miracle. You know, it felt like a miracle. Like,
body awareness, that's what we were talking about.
Body awareness, indeed, that's where we were.
So, from earlier, I said, what should we talk about? And you said authenticity.
Right.
And it's been coming up a lot, you know, with people that I've talked to. And really, so I practice all the yogas. Not all the yogas, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I teach Kundalini, and in Kundalini we have this beautiful mantra, Sat Nam.
Sat Nam.
Which means truth is my identity. Live your truth. Be your most authentic self.
Absolutely.
And it's been coming up so much. My best friend has literally been really trying to be his most authentic self. And when that happens, sometimes you have to say things to people that they don't necessarily really enjoy hearing. And sometimes it can come across as, oh, that dude's being like just a goof. But really, if you're being your most authentic self, you're not trying to hurt other people, but you also need to protect yourself and allow yourself to, you know, to put it out there. So it's so important, but it's such a challenge, I think, sometimes for us. Because sometimes I think we roll around and we're like, oh, well, I should be this way for this group of people and this way for that group of people. So how do you practice being your most authentic self? And do you think that there's been a change from when you started the yoga practice until now? Like more of an awareness of, that doesn't feel good, or that's really not me being myself?
Well, I mean, I teach yoga, me, myself, personally. It's like, I'm an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's because I'm black, whether it's because I'm a man, whether it's because I'm from the hood, whether it's because I actually take this yoga shit seriously. And is funny because all four of those kind of like have equal parts in terms of people's aversion. You know, some people hear Sanskrit and it's like, whoa. Some people see a black person and it's like, whoa. Some people see a male yoga teacher and it's, hold up. And some people see anybody from the hood, it's like, what's going on? Call the cops, you know? And so it's like, it's interesting because I've definitely, the yoga has given me the perspective to be able to integrate all that that I am into, you know, something I could be passionate about. You know, I'm an Eagle Scout. So I've always been passionate about the children and the youth and youth education and community and all of that stuff.
And you teach a lot of kids, classes.
A lot of kids. And that's, I would dare say that is like the cornerstone of the authenticity of my practice. You know, I've always mentored and counseled, like everywhere I was at. When I lived in Boston, I was working, you know, with kids. West Virginia, I was working with kids. And all up and down the coast, you know, kids. Even in Philly, forget about it. All kinds of kids. All over the city, I worked with kids in Philly before I ever did yoga. But when I got into the streets, it was like, well, I'm smart enough to be like, well, I had, you know, a couple programs established, but let me step back, because if I get booked, well, I don't want, you know, the headline to be like, Miles Turner, co-director of this program is a, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to associate that negativity with the kids. So I fell back from the kids for years. But coming back to the yoga, I don't even know how I got into the kids with the yoga, but it just was so organic that, you know, it was natural. It was natural. And I always wanted to have something to offer the kids that they need and that I really want to give them. You know, they're more receptive to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to try to get you to do nothing. I'm here to just give you, you know, a piece of peace for real. You know, like just calm down and cool out and connect to your breath. The authenticity component was definitely reestablished and highlighted and italicized and emboldened with this yoga, because that's what it is. There is no more authentic thing we could do as human beings than breathe, you know. And then that's what yoga is about. Somebody told Shiva Das, if it ain't the breath, it ain't yoga. They're not teaching the breath, they're not teaching yoga. And in fact, at Zadlo Acharya Pramananji, shout out to Acharya Pramananji, he said, you know, yoga is popular, but what's popular is not yoga. And so a lot of this bullshit that people be on, you know what I'm saying? Because I have such an easy lane to get into that shit, but I don't, it adds to my credibility. You know, I'm not hating on nobody. David Hem, shout out to David Hem. David Hem says, you know, it's America. So getting anybody on the yoga mat is America. For however you do it. You know, if they get on the mat, if it take a goat, if it take a dog licking they whatever, get them on the mat.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad there's people out there with that perspective, and it's a beautiful thing. But that ain't me. what I'm saying? Like I done turned down 4 digits for puppy yoga. You know what I'm saying? Like I done turned down partnerships that really could have been beneficial because I don't like how you carry it. And it's like, you know, I'll look back in 5 years and be like, yeah, that shit is tight. And it's tight not because of what's on it, but because of what's not on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't take that check to do this extra shit. Because I didn't, you know, go promote this product or promote this stuff and I wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy when you get to these levels. I'll give you an example. I used to work for, you know, huge, fancy, crazy, like, it's not even a gym. You got, it's like an experience. You know what I'm saying? One of them kind of places, like, like crazy fancy, like crazy fancy. I've never been in a place this fancy. And it was like, you know, it was all about brand. It was all about, you know, like it wasn't about the yoga. It was red tape and Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? That was their shit. And I'm like, you know, I dig it. Y'all cool, y'all corporate, and that's all well and good. You know, they was offering the top dollar for a slot that I ever had. They was, you know, the facility was immaculate. Facilities all over the country. The trainers is asking me to train. All kind. It was a beautiful situation. But I got there and it's like, well, y'all not really about the yoga. And if y'all not really about the yoga, I can't fuck with you. Hey, Dre, shout out to Dre. Dre said, ain't no future in fronting. You know what I'm saying? So I could get there. I could get that check. I could, you know, put the smile on and cash that. But it's like, no. I gotta go to sleep. I gotta look in the mirror. I gotta, fuck that. I gotta look my daughter in the face. You know what I'm saying? I gotta look Sage in the face and be like, listen, Daddy kept it 100 in these yoga streets. And you know, it's like, it's not too many times you get to start over in life. You know what I'm saying? Yoga gave me a whole new start in a whole new world with a whole bunch of new people and places and things that I never even dreamed of or considered in my life. And it's a responsibility to honor the integrity in that.
Yeah.
And I take that shit real serious. Like, it's like fatherhood and then yoga. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just it. Like, yeah, family, yoga. Like, straight like that.
And then it makes it all yoga.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all yoga once you kind of understand what's going on. It's all part of the practice.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
It's funny because I sometimes struggle with people will be like, do you just photograph yoga? Do you just photograph yogis? And there are times I say no, but it's all yoga.
Yeah.
You know, for me, when I get behind my camera, if I'm photographing a yogi or I'm photographing just a landscape or I'm photographing just headshots for somebody, for me, it's still yoga. It's just what I'm capturing is something other. But once once you dive in, you get to a point you're like, oh, right, this is all yoga, and I really need to listen to that voice inside. Sorry, little cut, light change. We had a flop around. We had to flip around, but we're much cooler on this side now. So, thank you so much for taking the time to get up to watch the sunrise with me.
Thank you for reaching out.
It was very sweet.
Thank you for reaching out.
Yeah,
I'm honored. You know what I'm saying? You're a legend. Don't you be underplaying yourself, man. Listen.
Well, thank you.
Your name ring out in these yoga streets. It ring out.
I really appreciate that. And you know, like I just said, it's all yoga. It's my dharma, my path. That's why I'm here.
No doubt.
To do something with this.
Well, you're doing it.
Back to all them.
You're doing it.
So, I've been asking everyone that I've chatted with if you can give everyone out there a little piece of advice to move forward in their dreams, passion, goals. What would that?
I mean, I tell everybody the same thing. Stay true to yourself and stay true to the game. If you stay true to yourself and true to the game, everything works out every time. It's guaranteed. That's how the universe works. But the key to that is you got to know the game and you got to know yourself. And that takes work. You know, staying true to yourself and true to the game is way easier than knowing yourself and knowing the game. But they just as equally important. Like when people was in tree poles, I try to tell them stability and sustainability in equal parts. You know, like you got to make sure that you doing what you're supposed to be doing, but you gotta make sure that you're doing it the way you're supposed to be doing it as well. You know, somebody told me, I don't know, I think it might be in the Gita actually, it might be in the Bhagavad Gita, they say, you know, it's better to do your job wrong than to do somebody else's job perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could do what you want, but make sure that's what you're supposed to be doing, and you're not doing something for somebody else or for something else's purpose other than fulfilling that purpose that you got. We all here for a reason, I believe, and you know, whether we living in that truth or not, it shows. There is no substitution for authenticity. There is no substitution for experience. There is no substitution for passion. And so once you find your game and find your lane within that game, and you find that place of Sanatana Dharma, that universal oneness that connects us all, and that truth from that standpoint and perspective, shit just flows. Shit just flows. So yeah, stay true to yourself, stay true to the game. Straight like that.
Yes. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. Really quick, where can everybody find you? What's the best way? The Instagram?
No, Facebook.
The Facebook.
See me on Facebook. Yeah, all that. That's it. Just Facebook. BigMala, one word, Namaskar.
I'll link it right there.
BigMala Namaskar.
All right. Thank you so much. You're an inspiration. I really love watching everything that you're doing, and you know, you're lighting up the world.
Thank you.
It's been beautiful to watch.
I'm sure we'll bump into each other soon enough.
Yes, we will. Thank you all for watching. Check this amazing human out, and I will see you tomorrow. All right, man.
Peace.
Sweet.